Who's excited about the Australian Open? Just me? What? Oh, football.
Do 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 do. This is a theme song.
This looks like it was filmed on a Sunday morning, right? I'm getting over a cold, so be prepared for the sexy, sultry side of Totally Judgy. Anyway, today I would respond to Laura and talk about my own sort of technological issue that has come up and I'm sort of interested in. Laura, I totally get what you're talking about GPS. For me, the worst thing about GPS is that they have no sense of how long it takes to drive places. Not in the sense of like how long your entire trip is going to take, but in the what is the appropriate time to tell you when the next direction is happening. Usually it's around the 0.2 mile mark when they're like, in 0.2 miles, exit left. Totally fine if you're driving down the road at 40 miles an hour. Totally fine if you're on back roads and you need to know which farm to get to. But if you're on the highway, it's a 4-lane road and you're driving in the left lane, and you have to exit right in 0.2 miles and you're going 80 miles an hour in tons of traffic, 0.2 miles is not that exciting. It's actually terrifying because then you have to weave your way across 4 lanes of traffic and hope that you make the exit in time. So awesome, thanks GPS. So I came across an article about a week ago about how the Obama administration is working on a national security ID, a digital ID for Americans to use on the internet. But before I start talking about my own personal opinion about it, let's have a few more facts about the issue itself. First off, this security system is just in the stages of being planned now. Second, although there have been bids by NSA and the Department of Homeland Security, the people who are actually going to take care of this system are the Department of Commerce, which frankly has me a little happy because for some reason guys in black suits working at the NSA is a lot scarier than guys in black suits working at the Department of Commerce. I'm like, you sell me things, alright, we can have a relationship. Third, the system is currently opt-in only, so nobody has to get an ID. It's only if you want to. And fourth, they want to have a lot of input and development from the private sector. So let's talk about how I feel about this. I'm coming at it from two different perspectives. On the one hand, I have to admit, I'm a pretty liberal individual, and I tend to feel pretty positive about government programs. And so there's part of me that's like, you know, if they think that it's the best for the country, then I can maybe get behind it if you explain it to me. But on the other hand, I come from the generation that was raised with the internet, basically. But my older brothers and my parents grew up in a world without an internet, so to me, I always feel like my generation is sort of the tipping point when it became just a general part of our lives. But as someone who grew up in the internet, I have a lot of admiration for the way that it differs from the other media. And I think part of that has to do with my own sort of background in studying film and television. The way that the internet is so much freer than movies or TV, and the way that we consume it, and the way that we produce content for it. And I'm very resistant to methods of sort of closing down the internet and putting restrictions on it. It just makes me really uncomfortable. I mean, I could get into the whole thing about net neutrality, which is a very important issue, and maybe I'll talk about it at some other point, but it's way too long to get into now. But I highly recommend that you read up on it because it's a significant issue that's coming up, actually, in legislation, even as we speak. Even though it's not directly related to monitoring, there's a part of me that's nervous about the government issuing these IDs and having that sort of information about me. It reminds me a lot of the Patriot Act, because under the Patriot Act, the government can already issue subpoenas to internet providers to look at what people have been doing. So they can already see how many times you clicked on, like, hotmanbits.com. On the other hand, this may make it so much easier to cut down on identity theft. And it might not be the scary figure that it could be. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think that government-issued ID is a good idea for the internet? Do you think that it would make your life easier because you wouldn't have to remember which email and which password to use for each site? Or does it make you nervous? The Obama administration is putting out a draft of a national strategy for trusted identities in cyberspace in a few months, so I suggest you check it out. I'll be reading it. Let me know what you think in a comment or video response. Subscribe if you can. Favorite the video, thumb it up if you like. And thanks for watching. This has been yet another episode of Totally Judgy. I'm gonna go have some orange juice. Bye. New digs, right? Yeah, you like like the two wall. This is depth. Look, my hand's going in. Whoa. Someday I'm going to have decorations.